A lot of people, think that higher the price, the better it gets. In some cases, it's true, but in these two speakers, it's not the case. Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today is time to compare these two speakers, Wharfedale Evo 4.2 and Bowers & Wilkins 706S2. Currently, these are retail for $1,000 for pair of these of Evo 4.2s, and 706S2 retails for $2,000 for pair of the speakers. So price is double for this smaller Bowers & Wilkins speakers. I think that's more to do with the name. Overall build quality, fit and finish, this Evo 4.2 is every bit is comparable and even better build quality in regarding to this cabinet design. And then this cabinet is really deep. It's about 14 inches. So it's sloped back like this to the narrow towards the rear end. This is just a rectangular box. The price difference doesn't really tell the big difference in fit and finish and quality right here, to be honest with you. I've been using the 706S2 speakers for almost a year now, and this is very good speaker, totally enjoyable, especially if you pair with warmer sounding amplifier like such as the one I'm using right now, BMA SX11. 706S2 have a little bit of a forwardness from upper mid-range to high frequencies compared to any other speakers, especially this Evo 4.2. Evo 4.2 play really nice and the best with the neutral sounding amplification to a little bit warmer sounding amps. 706S2 must pair with warm sounding amplification for me personally, because that a little bit of upper mid-range, a little bit of brightness and a little bit of forwardness that I got annoyed by it time to time. But overall, the dome tweeter have a big and wide spacious soundstage compared to this kind of ribbon tweeters. May have a less instrument separation compared to this metal dome tweeter, but it does have a point source kind of like a presentation. It feels like it makes you feel like a more realistic sounding, realistic presentation, like you are listening to very good performance at the control, well-treated venue. That kind of sound signature, it's kind of give me that kind of feeling when I listen to this speaker. The 706S2 have spacious and a little better instrument separations, wide soundstage and all that, but soundstage depth is much better on Evo 4.2. 706S2 compared to Evo 4.2 in that soundstage and soundscape and overall depth of the sound signature that it reproduces. Evo 4.2 have more depth and richer and fuller tonality with engaging sound reproduction. Easier to listen. I can enjoy hours and hours of music with a lot of different music. Particularly a lot of my favorite music are like heavy metals and like 70s and 80s and acoustic music, string music. This speaker really shines. So 80s and 90s, 706S2, forget about it. It can get pretty bright, popular music from 70s, 80s and 90s. I'm a big fan of 80s, by the way, also 70s. And Evo 4.2 totally give me sound and musical soundscape and musical enjoyment that I wish for. It can give me that kind of enjoyment. So that's why I'm keeping Wharfedale Evo 4.2 in my system. So Evo 4.2 weakness is maybe some recording, they may feel like a little bit of a thicker mid-range region. That's depending on the recording, depending on the pairing components. 706S2 will definitely give you bright and forward sounding sound signature if you pair with the average AV receivers or pretty neutral sounding amplifications. This one definitely need warmer sounding amplification to sound the best, regardless of what type of amp, A, B, or D, or doesn't matter. Personally, Evo 4.2 work well with my musical taste. So mainly I listen to like hard rock, heavy metal, glam rock, and 80s, 90s, 70s, and some 60s, folk music, country music, blues, jazz, and some, orchestra, some classical music, etc. It really suits my taste and my musical preference. When I play with the full symphony, Evo 4.2 totally outperforms 706S2 in overall depth and scale and soundscape. So next thing is stereo image. Stereo image in this music den, it depends on where I sit and listen to the speakers, particularly this Evo 4.2. So for 706S2, I can sit 6 feet away. Speakers are towed in like 20 degree, well spread out, probably like over like, I don't know, 74.5 inches, somewhere in that range. And it can sound really great. And I can sit 6 feet away. But Evo 4.2, I cannot sit in same position as a 706S2. The reason is this soundstage is so deep and depth is so much greater than 706S2. If I sit in very same position as a 706S2, it doesn't sound great. So I have to move back from the center of my system to almost 10 feet away to get the best sound, because I don't want to bring the speakers inwards. That's why I try to keep the speaker well spread out, like 70 inches away from each other. And then I try to have best possible soundscape and soundstage in this music den. So in my first sound demo, these are not towed in at all. It sounds great, 3D like delicate soundstage, but its high frequency will totally roll off. Some may prefer that way. If you are very sensitive to high frequencies, you want to try these Evo 4.2, just facing straight to the listener position instead of towing in. Without tow in, this one will give you that kind of scale and music reproduction with a good soundscape, with nicely roll off highs, with a very delicate mid-range, with the floating 3D like sound reproduction. But I want a little bit more dynamic sound, so I tone them in about like 20 degree, and then it totally changes. Everything changes. Everything is more dynamic, more engaging, more engaging sound with good attack and dynamic with great stereo image. Okay, if you have a really small space, these may not work for you. You want to look for Evo 4.1 or something in smaller speaker, because this one soundstage and soundscape is so deep that it needs more room to get the best possible sound, because this speaker needs to be treated as a floor standing tower. That how big and how deep the soundstage it can be. That's why if you're having problem with the soundscape and stereo image, you might want to adjust the position where you sit. You might want to tweak the speaker a little bit, maybe toe them in a bit or spread them out a little bit more. So you have to fine tune it. your experience maybe varies. I mean, it's all depends on the room. It all depends on where you sit. It all depends on pairing components. Honestly, I'm thinking this can go toe to toe with KEF R3. That's my personal opinion, but I have yet to try them back to back in my system. So I will do that in the future. Please look forward to it. Some may prefer 706S2 for, big wide soundscape with the very spacious reproduction from each notes. And some may prefer Evo 4.2 with very deep and rich soundstage with very good detailed sound with smooth representation and smooth sound reproduction. So that's different. But when I compare to these speakers back to back, Evo 4.2 sound like a point source. It doesn't call attention of any drivers from this 3 drivers assembly. And 706S2 calls a lot of attention to its tweeters. So that's how they're different in design idea and design philosophy. So you must choose accordingly based on your taste. You must choose based on your pairing components and your musical preference. If you have a musical preference like me, Evo 4.2 may suit you better, because I'm very happy that the way the sound that reproduced by Evo 4.2. I'm keeping Evo 4.2 as my speaker. This one gonna move to a different system as they have it in the future. I'm gonna try to find something, in different price point and price category as another my reference. So stay tuned and thank you for watching.
Trip and get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. And get your kicks on Route 66. 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 I think. Give me the passion without the bleeding, and I'll tell you what I blink. Whoa, now don't say nothing. Whoa, just let time pass. Whoa, just think of something. While I look at you. Oh, I love to look at you. Give me a shadow and all loose connections, and I'll tell you what I know. Give me a roadmap of your heart's directions, and I'll tell you where I go. Whoa, don't say nothing. Whoa, just let time pass. Whoa, just think of something. While I look at you. Oh, I love to look at you. Give me that look, the way that you do. Give me that look, the one that makes me wanna crawl inside you. Give me a reason, one good reason. There is no passion without bleeding. One good reason, and I'll tell you what I think. Give me the passion without the bleeding, and I'll tell you why I blink. Whoa, now don't say nothing. Whoa, just let time pass. Whoa, just think of something. While I look at you. Oh, I love to look at you. Give me your shadows and all loose connections, and I'll tell you what I know. Give me a roadmap of your heart's directions, and I'll tell you where I go. Whoa, don't say nothing.